Welcome back to MS Tech. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at a gaming mouse which resembles the Razer Death Adder a lot, but in reality isn't even close to the Death Adder. Now this gaming mouse is $25 USD and it claims to be lightweight and honeycomb design. Today we have the Ziyou Lang X3. Now when I picked this up off Amazon, I picked it up from a company called Felicon, so the discrepancy there I'm not too sure about, but it arrived to me, so I'm happy for that. Now when it comes to the unboxing of this, it's so simple that I might as well do it here. You open the tab, you find a micro USB cable, and then the mouse. That's pretty much it. There's nothing else, no instructions, nothing. So there's 4 different options when it comes to color for the mouse. You've got this, which is green, you've got black, yellow, and white. I personally, because of Tech Barn, chose to go with this teal, because it's obviously Tech Barn color. Now, another thing when it comes to the design is that this mouse claims to be lightweight because of the honeycomb design that it has. Now, I have to say that this I don't believe is true at all, because this mouse genuinely feels a lot heavier than I expected. Now, one of my friends owns a glorious Model D, and so I tried it out with that, and let me just say this is a lot heavier. Now, my old previous mouse used to be the Logitech G602, and so going from that to this, yes, this one is a lot lighter, but I don't believe this should be called a lightweight gaming mouse. Going back on the design of the mouse, the honeycomb material, it feels nice. It does feel a bit like cheap plastic, but then again, it is $25. When it came to the buttons of this mouse, they honestly weren't that bad. There were a few buttons that I had a few issues with, such as the forward and back button, because you need to press in on them a bit more, as well as the scroll wheel button. For some reason, the amount of force you have to put on this is crazy, but everything else was honestly pretty good. Here's a quick sound test of what the buttons sound like. Now this mouse has 3 DPI options. You've got 1200, 1800, as well as 2400. I would have liked to seen a bit higher of a DPI sensor just in case when you're gaming and you need to move your mouse fast across from one side to the other. I don't get that part of it as well. Flipping the mouse over, on the back you have an on-off switch where if you go in the middle, you can have the mouse on with no RGBs, and then once you go all the way on, that's when the RGBs click in. Now this is how you change the color of the RGBs. You just click the button, and you've got a few presets you can cycle through. They're not the best presets by any means, but having that little bit of RGB, I guess, is better than not having any at all. Now this mouse, being wireless, is rechargeable via micro USB cord, which is included. I would have liked to seen a USB Type-C cable, but then again, for $25, you can't expect much. When it came to using this mouse, personally, I really like it. Again, this is a step up from my G602, which I've had for 2 years now. I love the Razer Death Adder myself, and this mouse it seems like a budget version of it. It's like a knockoff Death Adder would be the best way to call it. You still have the edges of the mouse flare up exactly like the Death Adder does, and that's something I find really special because it feels very nice in my hand and it feels like it was molded in some sense to my hand. Now when I tried gaming with this is also when the mouse fell short. The sensor is not accurate at all. Whenever I go from one side to the other with the mouse, the sensor does lag sometimes, which again, when I'm playing fast-paced games, it does cause issues. So I guess in this case, this mouse would more so be for looks. And I don't mind that because again, this is one of my favorite colors, which is very hard to find. And it's the exact same shape as a Razer Death Adder. One thing I also didn't like about this mouse is how that they claim it is lightweight. Yes, it does have a honeycomb design, but just because it's a honeycomb design does not mean at all that it is lightweight. The battery in there is pretty hefty and it does add a bit of weight. Overall, I can say that this mouse is good for people who just want the look, not so much the performance, but just the look of having a prestige mouse, something similar to the glorious Model D or the Model O, but without having to put out that much money. Overall, for me, this does the job just fine. I can use it for browsing the web, playing games here and there, and also doing work. It's also my favorite color, and it feels really comfortable in the hand. But aside from that, when it comes to the gaming aspect of it, I would say it falls short. And so if this mouse was to just be called a honeycomb wireless mouse, then yes, I could say it's a good recommendation. But because it's called a gaming mouse, I have to say that the gaming aspect of it does fall short. And if it's for that reason you would want this mouse, then you should look elsewhere. Thanks for watching. If you stuck around till the end, a like and subscribe is greatly appreciated. It helps us out a lot, and it also helps the YouTube algorithm out. This has been MS Tech, and as always, stay classy.